Yo, what's up, everybody out there? This is your boy Todd here with True Sonic
Yeah.
Trenell. We're back for episode 101 of a weekly gaming news show. Today is Sunday, May 20th, 2018, and we got some stuff to talk about.
Yeah, we got quite a bit to talk about. Let me mute my feed over here. Shouts out to the Facebook feed. Always a pleasure to have you guys here. Always a pleasure, and sometimes quite the pain in the ass getting the Facebook up and running. We're gonna have to figure something out about that. But we're back. It's episode 101. We're back very
Take you to
soon.
school, baby. Take you to school.
Yeah, taking this. Yeah, the last time we were live, it was Wednesday. We talked about the news from last week, and it was really hard for us not to talk about this week's news in that episode because a lot happened. Like a lot went down, and we're gonna get into that today, including some delays. Man, it's gonna be a sad podcast because we got some delays that we're going to talk about. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump into everything. How was your weekend, man?
It was pretty actually uneventful. I did go check out Deadpool.
Okay. I haven't seen it yet. No spoilers.
Which was hilarious.
Oh, I bet.
It definitely is worth the watch for sure, and it's kind of it's a refreshing take, a refreshing step away from the Marvel Cinematic Universe with the Disney goody two shoes. I like some vulgarness.
Yeah,
I like some.
It
violence.
wasn't all that goody in the Infinity War. That wasn't too goody, but still,
but
I know what you're saying.
Yeah. But it was definitely good. If you haven't watched it, I would definitely watch it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go check it out. Probably last weekend. It was totally sold out over here. At least for the Dolby Digital, which is how I prefer to watch movies. Was all sold out. So we're gonna try again this upcoming weekend and see if we can check it out. But man, besides that, dude, all I've been doing was just chilling and streaming video games with my brother. I did that all weekend, and it felt good. It's something I haven't done in a long time.
Yeah.
So that was fun. I really enjoyed that.
Just real quick before we start, State of Decay 2 is launching on Tuesday. Are you going to be getting into that?
I want to. I actually thought that it was out this weekend, but
yeah, my brother Mark's been playing it, and I asked him about
how?
it. He said pre-order got early access.
What? The pre-orders got early access? So that's what it was. If you pre-ordered it. Okay, so we have a slight live audience. I say slightly because he's in the background playing 2K on the other TV. But like if we hear any chuckles or grunts or anything, that's Yanni. Yeah, we did our job. What'd you say, Yanni?
Isn't it $30?
It's $30 what for the whole game? It's $30, but if you have Xbox Game Pass, it's only $10.
Yeah, I've got Game Pass, so
yeah.
I'm definitely
So Yanni's in the house. Shout out to Yanni for being in the house. Yanni's in the house. Yeah, shout out to freaking G Marks for having the advanced copy. That's dope, man. G Marks always a pleasure to talk about G Marks, man. G Marks, that's the homie right there. All right, but let's go ahead and get into it. If you're new to the podcast, what we like to start things off with is our weekly icebreaker. And that's just a question that we like to ask of each other to get a sense of where we are on certain gaming topics. And if you would ever like to ask us a question yourself, you can do so by reaching out to us on our social media. All of the links will be in the description, but you can also see it on stream right underneath Boogie. We have our YouTube, our Facebook, and you can also leave comments in the comment section of the video once it goes live on YouTube. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. This week's question comes from Boogie. So why don't you go ahead and introduce it? What we got first?
Yeah. So what current gaming fad, excluding loot boxes, we all know the hate for loot boxes. We are all on board with getting that off. Would you like to see go bust?
I mean, it's not a lot of gaming fads that are prominent these days. It's loot boxes and it's battle royale, and and I'm gonna have to go ahead and say that I wouldn't like to see battle royale die, but there is some stories that we're gonna talk about later that just kind of I don't know, man. I feel like the battle royale scene is kind of just like reaching its way into like
other everything.
Yeah, it's like a Me Too effect. Like everybody's trying to jump into battle royale, and I don't think that that's the move. You know, especially for some franchises. But we're going to be talking about that a little bit more. Do you have anything different? Any other fads?
Well, outside of battle royale, I would like to see multiplayer everything go away. Not as far as like all multiplayer go away, but every game having to have a multiplayer component. I mean, not let me take that back. Not multiplayer, but competitive component, PvP component.
Okay.
That's what I like to see. Everything has to have a PvP component. I don't like that. Some games it definitely works. There's other games that release PvP components, and it makes no sense for it to be in the game.
Yeah.
I've long disliked that, and I continue to dislike that. Give me more co-op. Thank you, Far Cry 5. Thank you, State of Decay 2. That's coming up.
Yep.
But always the PvP, because what I've noticed, it just takes away from the single player experience, especially when it's a game that's supposed to have single player. One game that comes to mind that I hate the competitive component is Watch Dogs. The Watch Dogs 2. They threw in that PvP mode. I think they could have used more resources to hash out the story more, make the story longer, and I mean, because it's a great game and it was fun to play, or even built a more compelling cooperative mode.
Yeah.
As opposed to having that competitive nonsense.
Yeah. There's a lot of games that just randomly will have a competitive mode. The one that I thought of right off the bat was the Tomb Raider PvP. Remember that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, totally unnecessary. It was underwhelming to say the least, and it didn't even make its way into the sequel. So I feel like that was because they knew. Yeah, but I will say that when it's done right, when there's a lot of effort put into it, it does add to the overall experience for the game. For instance, Max Payne 3. When I played that game, I played through the story, and once you play through the story, there's really not much more to do single player wise, and that game's multiplayer was actually compelling enough for me to continue playing that game for months and months after I had already beaten the story. So I will say that I agree with you that everything doesn't need a multiplayer, but I do not want to see multiplayer in some game, especially the third person action game. I don't want to see those go away per se, but they definitely need to have more effort put into it, not just like slapped together and just shipped out or whatever.
I see like GTA 5 is a good one. We'll talk about GTA 5 coming up, but that's a good one for the online multiplayer. It's really robust and does a lot. But again, I would prefer, especially when it's the third person open world type games, I would really scuttle PvP and would much more enjoy if you're gonna do multiplayer co-op version, and just make the world robust, make a lot of stuff to do in the world.
Yeah. I do hate when the online component is just like slapped together and just it's like an afterthought. I do hate that when that's the case.
So it's thrown in just to say we got it too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I agree with you on that front. But yeah, again, that was our weekly icebreaker. If you want to ask us questions, hit us up on our social media. You know what to do. And with that said, we can go ahead and move into the next segment. So let's go ahead and get started with our quick hits. And these are shorter stories that don't necessarily deserve a deep dive, but they are stories that happened throughout the week. And some of these are actually important. We're going to be talking about 3 individual stories that caught our attention. So first up, we have a story coming out of Sony. So let's jump into that first.
Yeah, so Sony will stop producing the PS Vita carts. So the little memory cards, and it's a Sony proprietary card. They're not going to be making the game carts anymore in North America and Europe. They will continue producing them in Japan and some Asian territories. They didn't specify which Asian territories, but they expect to stop producing the game cards by March of next year, March 31st, 2019, which is the end of fiscal year of the
2018.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
I mean, this is to be expected. The Vita is essentially a dead in the water just because it didn't have any support. They pushed it out, and this was after the shellacking that the PSP took from the original DS, and then they decided to come out with the Vita, and it just did not have the backing, it didn't have the support, it didn't have the games. to keep it going, because this thing, the Vita, and I was always kind of envious of people that had one, because the technology is amazing.
And you were able to use it as a second screen for the PlayStation 3.
Yeah, second screen for the PS3. It has like touch controls or whatever. On the back and the front. Like it's a touch screen on the front as well.
Yeah, it's
a lot that you could do with it, and it's a good multimedia device, but it just does not have any games. And when you're trying to sell somebody a portable console that doesn't have any games, I mean, good luck with that, Fame. I don't know what else to tell you.
Right, and in today's day and age, where the cell phones are so much more powerful than they were at the time the Vita was released, it's really a tough sell having, and the Vita is not the smallest device. It's really a tough sell trying to get that Vita out there. And something I noticed in researching the story is the PlayStation Vita isn't featured on the Sony website. If you go to Sony's website, at the top is PS4, PSVR, games, PS View, PS Store. No mention of the Vita. You actually have to search for it to actually get to it. So it's definitely something that's not on the forefront for them. And it's an old system. When it came out in old, it's like 10 years old.
It's 15 years old, man.
Is it 50? It's not that old.
I think that thing is like 15 years old.
Yeah, I thought.
When did it come out? Let's do some research.
Yeah.
PS Vita?
2012. 11.
11 years old, okay.
2011 in Japan, 2012. So 2012. So it was December 11 in Japan, February 12 and everywhere else. So it's 6 years old. It's not that old, 6-7 years old. But
I thought it was older.
Yeah, it seems like it, right?
Yeah, it does. But yeah, I mean, they've already stated that they're going to stop releasing the free games for gold on the PS Vita. So they're scaling down everything when it comes to the Vita. The next time we talk about it, I would not be surprised if it was they're being discontinued. They're gonna quit
production.
Yeah, they're gonna stop production on them and just let it slowly die out. But it's unfortunate.
It's like you said, it's something I always wanted to get, but I never wanted to pay the price they were asking for.
No.
If I can get my hands on a nice used one for about $100, I would stack it on my shelf of unused gadgets.
Yeah, just to preserve it, right? The National Boogie Gaming Museum. You come in and you can see the very first ColecoVision.
I wish I still had that. That thing probably worth some money.
I know, right? As I'm holding on to dear life to this freaking Dreamcast I have over here, and try to keep that freaking laser disc working. Because once those things die out, it's a wrap, yo. I don't know how much it'll cost to repair a Dreamcast in 2018. But let's go ahead and move on. We have a couple more stories in our quick hit section, and you know what? We're actually going to be talking about a game that we haven't mentioned on the show for quite some time, and that's Grand Theft Auto 5.
And that's because we haven't been saying anything about sales numbers, because that damn game is always in the top 10.
It's always in the top 10. Yeah, we stopped doing the NPR sales a little while ago. That was the last time we talked about it, and every single time we brought it up, Grand Theft Auto was in the top 10 highest selling games.
Yeah.
And this week's story is basically saying that this game is on the road to sell 100 million copies.
That's unheard of.
Never been done before.
That's unheard. That makes it a $6 billion game, right?
That's crazy.
If it's $60 per copy, and we know there's been sales, and they sell 100. Right. Yeah,
and the Xbox One and PS4 versions were sold at a lower price point initially.
Right, initially, yeah. Yeah, but if you add up those total sales and the GTA Online, which is raking in the doughs for Take-Two, that was another part of that story, is how profitable, how much money they're bringing in on GTA Online. This game is a multi-billion-dollar monster, and it doesn't seem to be stopping, because I took a peek at some of the last few months, and yes, it's still showing up in the top 10. I think 1 month it was outside of the top 10, like 11 to 12, but it's perpetually in the top 20 every month.
Every month since its launch, it's been in the top at least in the top 20. And you know, that's a accomplishment right there, to have so many people still playing your game. And man, they've been releasing content for the GTA Online like it's nobody's business. Like every few months they have new features, new ways to play the GTA 5 online. So there's no wonder why people are still playing it, or you know, still picking it up even in 2018, because this game is what,
5 years old.
5 years old.
2013, and then it released the second time in 15 the year
2015.
After, the year after because it released on the current gen systems, but it released the year after they released.
Right. So it's been going strong, man, and damn.
It's going crazy, and they're jumping into the battle royale mode, and they're just keeping it as fresh as possible.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem like they're actively following trends, and that's the biggest part about GTA 5 GTA Online, is that it doesn't appear that they're following trends, but you know,
they're just out there doing
their thing. Every time a new piece of content comes out, they release it. And a lot of this stuff has been free. A lot of the online updates have
most of it. I haven't seen anything that's been charged. I think the only thing they charge are for those packs, right? The money packs.
The money packs, yeah. But I will say to this day that I'm still upset that they never expanded on the single player like they promised. Because it was supposed to be a single player campaign expansion, and that never happened. So they didn't need to. Yeah,
they went all the way to the online. That's back to my fad point. I would like to see, like, this is I know Take-Two is like, who cares about single player? We're making so much money on the multiplayer. But this is the thing: GTA at its heart is a single player open world game. Yep. It wasn't a PvP game, and it is now.
Yeah, PvP and PvE is the only way to essentially play Grand Theft Auto. I mean, there's people right now that are buying Grand Theft Auto and haven't even gone through the story. Yep. And it's crazy because the story is amazing. It's I think it's the best story in Grand Theft Auto, and that's saying something, because you got games like San Andreas, GTA 3, which have amazing stories. Right. And in my opinion, this one brings all the elements, like all the different elements from the different types of stories that they told in the past, are like brought together, because you have three main protagonists in this one, and you know, it blew it out of the water. I think I enjoyed it more because when it first released on 360, the online component wasn't ready yet. So that didn't come out for a few months. Right. So I had plenty of. Yeah, so I had plenty of time to, you know, go through that story, and I loved every minute of it.
I haven't touched GTA 5.
That is a sin against humanity.
I've not touched it. When they get to 99,999,999,
you'll be that one.
I'll buy the 100th million one.
You'll be the you're our 100 millionth freaking purchase of GTA. You win nothing.
Exactly.
Oh man, but yeah, we have one more story in our quick hits. Let's go ahead and move on to that. We're talking about Wolfenstein 2, a game that's been out for quite some time, but the Nintendo Switch release will be coming out very soon, and it's going to have you're gonna need to go ahead and get your memory sticks ready, because if you don't, you're not even gonna be able to play this game. Right. Essentially.
So initially, this is Bethesda, right? Yeah, Bethesda had the game listed as a 14 gigabyte in size. It's going to be 14 gigabytes on the Switch. And more recently, they've updated that to say it's actually going to be 23 gigabytes on the Switch. Now, if you do not own the Switch, you may not know that the Switch only has 32 gigs of internal memory, of which 8 of it is earmarked for the OS. Right. So effectively, you have 24 gigabytes of memory, internal storage, unless you're buying a memory card, which you're going to have to buy. Especially if you want to play this. And then furthermore, if you say, well, I can just play it off the cart, well, not necessarily, because the Nintendo Switch cards top off at 16 gigs. So even if you were trying to play off the cart, there's still about 7 gigs that wouldn't fit on that cart. And
you're going to have to download the patch.
Yeah, no, but for everything I read, is the way the game is set up, it's an all or none. Either you install it or you don't install it.
Oh wow.
So if you don't install it, you can't play it. From everything I've seen, now hopefully I'm wrong, but I don't think it matters at this point.
No.
And I think that's a failing on Nintendo's part. Just by I mean, come on, 32 gigabytes on a gaming system is
In 2018, like that's
it's insulting,
blasphemy.
right?
I mean, I was mad at the PlayStation 4 for only having 2 USB ports. I was like, what the hell is this madness? 2 USB ports? Get this out of here.
I don't know what they were thinking, and I think this is also part of the reason the Switch is not going to be getting a lot of these big AAA titles, because there's no room for it.
There's no room. People are going to have to go out after they've already invested money in the system, the controllers, the games, and now you have to buy memory as well. Like that, buying memory cards isn't something that I have done since when? Like I haven't had to like buy a memory. Well, I mean, I did have to buy an external hard drive for both my current gen consoles, but an actual like memory card, like I don't know, man.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing is the Switch does allow up to 1 terabyte micro SD cards, which a 1 terabyte micro SD card costs more, I think twice as much as the Switch does right now.
Yeah.
A 256 is probably the most reasonable, and that's still like $140 at this point. So I mean, you're spending a lot of money to get this system up. I mean, you're paying $200 for the Switch. You're paying anywhere from $50 to up to $200 or more for a SD card, and then you're always paying full prices for the games because Nintendo refuses to give any deals on anything.
Yeah. So just more money coming out of your pocket. But at least when the online starts up, you can get those cloud saves, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
For more money.
Yeah.
For more money, you can get those cloud saves. So that's another reason why I think that the Nintendo Switch just needs to do better.
Yeah,
because right now it's not doing it for me right now.
No,
and I wouldn't play Wolfenstein on the Switch ever. Like I wouldn't do that ever.
There's no point. There's no point, especially when you got the higher res PlayStation and Xbox versions available. No reason to.
No reason to, yeah. So that's our quick hit section. If you have stories that you would like to submit to us, do so via our social media. You can hit us up on Facebook, on Twitter, and you can also leave comments down in the comments section. All of our information will be in the description. You can check us out. But if you look on stream, you can see all that information right underneath Boogie. You see that? You see those? Go to those links. Go there. We want to hear from you. But you got to be quick because Boogie is up on his gaming news. So if you want to beat him to the punch and get your story showcased on the show, that'd be awesome. And we'll definitely shout you out as well. But with that said, we can go ahead and move into the next segment, which is going to be the meat and potatoes of the podcast. And that's our top 5 news stories for this week. But I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor before we jump into that. So let's do that really quickly. Give a huge shout out to our boys. So, if you want to get good at your favorite fighting game, go to newchallenger.gg, join the Discord, and become involved in a ever-growing collective of gaming enthusiasts and fighting game players that want nothing more than to increase your knowledge of your favorite fighting game and your favorite fighting game character. Supporting Injustice 2, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite in its limited capacity, Street Fighter V, and of course Dragon Ball FighterZ. The New Challenger Discord will help you build that solid foundation that will carry you to the championship. Like, disclaimer, like you might not actually make it. No, I'm just kidding. But these guys are awesome. They've been sponsoring the podcast for quite a while now. They always tend to shout us out during their live segments because they do have weekly and bi-weekly tournaments. You can also get one-on-one and group training for a variety of different games and characters. And the website helps you choose which person that will best suit your interests. So go check it out. It's a lot of information there to be gained, and also make sure that you hit them up on Twitter at New Challenger TV, and that's also their Twitch channel as well. They have a lot of content that goes up on there. So again, that's newchallenger.gg. Let them know that True Sonic and Boogie sent you, and shouts out to Mr. Vinegar because he is the founder of the Discord channel, and of course Mount Lover, who's always a friend of the podcast, and he also designed our very sleek and very sexy overlay that we have going on here. So thanks to all those guys for helping us out. Is everything good on your end, Boogie?
Yes.
Okay, I thought we lost you for a second.
No.
All right, so let's go ahead and get into the top 5 for this week. We got a lot of stories, and the first one is something that I almost could not bear to not talk about during our Wednesday show.
Yeah, this is when we had to bite our tongues on.
Yeah, we had to bite our tongue on this one. But the studio Boss Key Productions, led by the famous or infamous, depending on what you think, Cliff Bleszinski, has shut down in its entirety. Yeah. So the 2 games that they had ongoing was Lawbreakers, which was their take on the hero shooter, similar to Overwatch. Yeah. But different in a lot of ways. You know, I actually got a lot of flack for the video impressions that I put up for that game, because somebody was just like, yo, why are you comparing this to Overwatch? And like, even in the video, I said that there was a lot different to it, but I still got shit for it. But that's neither here nor there.
Of course, it's going to get compared to Overwatch because it is a hero-based class-based hero shooter. It's the same thing, different mechanics.
Yeah, different, and that's what I tried to focus on. It's like the mechanics were different. It was solid, and like, honestly, it just wasn't the game for me. Like that game was all about like momentum-based platforming and stuff, and I honestly just couldn't get into it. But I did give it a shot during the beta. But man,
the biggest thing with that game was its learning curve. People just didn't take it wasn't a game you can pick up and play. And if you can't just pick up and play it, and there's something out there that's similar or just other stuff out there, that people just gravitate to the other stuff. And that's what happened with Lawbreakers. Yeah. And then they rushed out the Radical Heights. At the time, we were both wondering, like, why would you do that? It doesn't make any sense. No. But it makes sense. That was their Hail Mary, right? It was like, okay, if we don't get something soon, we're going to shut down. We're done. So let's throw out this Radical Heights and see if we can get some momentum behind that. And that also failed.
Yeah. It failed to garner anything, any kind of like positive press or reactions. Everything that I looked at online said that this game was dead in the water. It was garbage. It was, the extreme early access build was out, like, what was it, like 6 weeks?
It was 5 months, I think it was.
I meant 6 months, my bad. Yeah. 6 months of development went into it before the extreme early access build came out. And people just didn't take to it. Right.
It was a buggy mess, which is to be expected in that type of alpha build, which is why we never see them. Right. But the fact that they threw it out there is just was them trying to that was their Hail Mary. It's like, we got to get some kind of momentum, and it just didn't garner any momentum, and that's that.
Yep, and that's the end of Boss Key. Now, what was interesting, after the closure of the studio, Cliffy B, or Cliff Bleszinski, he did show off some of the scrapped Boss Key projects, and some of them were actually pretty interesting. The one in particular that everybody seems to be gushing over was one where you're like some samurais and you ride dragons, trying to fighting zombies. Like, it looks pretty cool. Right. I think it was the code name for it was what was it called? Dragonflies or something like that.
Dragonflies. That's it. Yep.
Yeah. It was called Dragonflies, and it seemed interesting. It was an interesting take on a lot of genres or whatever. Right. But I don't know. I just feel like Boss Key's issue was that they were chasing trends instead of trying to create their own, start their own trends.
If you look at what Cliffy B released, as far as these projects were projects he was working on that were turned down by the publisher, right? They were rejected by the publisher, and this is even before Lawbreakers was beginning, right? Right. So these were turned down by the publisher in favor of Lawbreakers, and I think part of the problem is they aligned themselves with a publisher that was more about cashing in on what's currently hot versus blazing a new path.
Yeah, exactly. And for somebody that came from, the Gears of War fame, because Gears of War was a trendsetter. Yeah. Whether you hate it or love it, Gears of War definitely set a trend in gaming. I don't know. So to see him to see his team chase trends after creating some of the most
Right.
poppable trends in video gaming, I don't know. I just
I
felt like it was just doomed to fail. You
I
know?
I think it's ironic is the reason he left Epic and left Microsoft and left Epic, is because he didn't want to do that stuff anymore. He wanted to do something new and unique and on his own terms.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, he wound up getting stuck with a publisher that made him, chase a fad, chase what's hot, and didn't allow him to do what he wanted to do, what he really wanted to do, which was to create something new and fresh.
Yeah. Yeah, so hopefully all of the employees over at Boss Key, including Cliff Blazinski, find work elsewhere. It would be it'd be unfortunate to not see somebody as talented as Cliffy B not make games.
Yeah.
I really feel like he has a talent for game production. I would like to see his next product. His next project, hopefully something that that he actually wants to make instead of something that somebody wants to sell.
Right, and I wonder if these
scraps,
these scrap projects, if he owns the rights to them, or are they stuck with that publisher?
Yeah, it depends on their deal.
Right.
I guess at some points, once you like pitch it or whatever, if it gets rejected, then it's their idea now.
Right.
Hopefully that isn't the case, and somebody that wants to see some of this stuff come to life will pick it up and go run with it. We'll have to wait and see.
Right.
We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, that was the news on Boss Key. Let's go ahead and move on to our next story, and we're diving into the world of Microsoft.
Yeah.
And we have some interesting things to talk about, namely this controller, because I'm showing the picture on the screen right now, and when I saw it, I was like, "This is a controller." But it actually has a lot of interesting quirks about it. Boogie, let's go ahead and talk about it.
Right. So Microsoft has released what they call the Microsoft Adaptive Controller. It works with the Xbox One and Windows 10 machines. Okay. And when you look at it, you're thinking, "Oh, what is this, like some kind of DJ pad or drum kit?"
I didn't know what it was when I saw. I was like, it said giant NES controller with the buttons are way too big. I don't know what's going on.
Right. But what it actually is, it's a controller that's designed for people with disabilities.
Right.
Along the back of it, there's about 15 to 16 3.5 millimeter jacks that map to the different controls on your Xbox controller, be it your right and left bumpers, XB, AX. There's up, down, left, right on the D-pad. There's two USB ports that will map to the analog sticks. And what those 3.5 millimeter jacks are, most of the accessibility accessories use 3.5 millimeter jacks to interface. Mm-hmm. So people that have these type of accessibility accessories can just plug it right into the back of this new controller. And they can program it, and they make all the adjustments they want. There's up to four profiles, so you can change it based on maybe who's using it, the game you're playing, or what have you. And it's really, really interesting.
Right.
It's actually coming out this summer, and on top of that, it's only $100. It's not even ridiculously expensive.
Right.
And it will work with existing accessibility accessories. So if a person out there already has a bunch of accessories, they don't have to go out and buy more.
Right.
They can just
plug and play.
Plug and play. Yeah. I think that's really awesome.
Yep, and it's just one of those other like small little features that Microsoft is seemingly going with for the Xbox console, the Xbox brand. Right. They want all inclusive, all interactive, a gaming machine. Mm-hmm. Which it just makes my mind wonder. It's like, man, if they're going through all of this effort to bring forth such like amazing technology, they must have some games down the road, right?
Something, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And to further this, Microsoft, the last three Xbox updates, the dashboard updates, they've updated, added, and streamlined a lot of the accessibility options on the system itself. Right. From being able to change the size of the text on the screen to add in more narratives, and even changing the contrast for people that have a struggle, have a hard of seeing.
Right.
So they've done a lot in this particular field, and they didn't just do this on their own. They did work with a lot of groups that work with disabled to actually design this, that it would best fit work best with as many people as possible, include as many people as possible.
Right. So yeah. So like trying to cover as many like accessibility issues as they possibly can with one device. Like that's I mean, it's genius. Honestly, because there's a lot of gamers out there that have these accessibility issues that, you know, they still love to play games. I mean, there's a pro Street Fighter player named Broly Legs. The guy can like barely you know, has this disability, but he's a pro player,
right?
And he wins tournaments.
And so something like this would be awesome for him.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so
definitely. Exactly. So just another one of those things that Microsoft seems to be thinking about that nobody else is really doing.
Right.
And so what they need to do now is just come forth with the games. Like I really need them to do that this E3.
They gotta have a lit E3. We'll see. It's only it's a little bit over a month away. A little bit less than a month away, I should say.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, so let's go ahead and move into the next story. And we have a lot to unpack with this one because Call of Duty went on a freaking media frenzy, announcing a lot of features and modes that are going to be available once the game drops. So let's go ahead and just jump into it because, man, there is a lot to talk about. Yeah. So our fears have been confirmed. The game will not launch with a traditional single player campaign, which has a lot of people upset, of course, because Black Ops is probably one, if not the most revered of the different Call of Duty brands since you know, the Modern Warfare series seemed to just like.
Wouldn't jump off a cliff. They jumped
off the cliff and landed in a toilet and just flushed itself down the drain.
Modern Warfare 2 story was good.
Yeah.
MW3 they jumped the shark, but Black Ops and Black Ops 2 I didn't play Black Ops 2, I don't think, but Black Ops was really good.
Yeah, Black Ops has always been pretty consistent, and a lot of people hold this to a pretty high standard. This is the Treyarch Call of Duty.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, they announced a lot of stuff. Let's unpack it. What we got first?
So the first thing, just like you said, there's no single player campaign at all. Now there are single player missions, but there's no campaign. And speaking of single player missions, so Activision seemed to take all of the current popular trends and smash it into Call of Duty 4, Black Ops 4, because what they did now is become a kind of a hero-based shooter. There's specific classes, but basically it reminds me less of like a hero-based like Overwatch, but it's like they're like operators, like in Rainbow Six Siege.
Okay.
That's what it reminds me more of. Rainbow Six, a little bit of Battlefield, because Battlefield also has the same type of
class system.
Yeah, the class system. So they moved into the class system. I don't know. They updated the tech trees. I just, everything I looked at this is like it's like a amalgam of everything
of everything that's already been done. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be any kind of like stride into new uncharted territory. No. It's like, okay, this is everything that everybody's been doing, and it's all we're giving it the Call of Duty flair, essentially. Some of the
Call of Duty. It should be called Call of Duty Chop Suey.
I like that one. Yeah, because it's just an amalgamation of different features and modes from other games. So let's talk about a couple of them. Of course, the famous zombies mode will be making its return.
And I don't have a problem with that because that is a Call of Duty staple. That's one of the things they kind of started with.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's essentially it's their version of the Horde mode. You know, and it had its story, it had its characters, so that's fine. I don't have a problem with zombies mode, but the Battle Royale mode that they're going to be coming out with, codenamed Blackout, will feature. They didn't say how many players would jump into battle.
They still haven't said that.
They still haven't said.
Yep.
So we don't know if it's going to be 100 players like all of the other battle royale games. But they did say that it's going to have the fast action combat that you expect from Call of Duty, but in a battle royale setting. So the map essentially is going to be a collection of classic Black Ops maps put into one area,
right?
And one like huge area, one
stitched
huge
together.
map stitched together, and you'll be able to traverse this land by sea, air, and on like foot or whatever. So I don't know, man. A lot to take in when it comes to Call of Duty, just essentially changing up its entire structure to fit what is now the most popular trend in the shooting genre, which is battle royale.
Battle royale, and like I said, I mean, it just seems to me that they just took. I don't know. I'm not a Call of Duty player. I mean, I did play Infinite Warfare, right? But I just played the single player, and I bought that game for the nostalgia for the Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Call of Duty 4, the original Modern Warfare, which I hated, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, the second time around. Originally, I loved it, but the re-release I hated.
Remaster, yeah.
Yeah. I just, like I said, to me, there's nothing in here that shows me there's anything groundbreaking, anything new. And maybe there is, but it just doesn't feel that way. It just feels like it's a Me Too game. And and on top of it just being a Me Too game, it's a Me Too of every game. It's copying Rainbow Six Siege. It's copying Overwatch. It's copying Battlefield. It's copying Fortnite and PUBG, the Battle Royale games.
Yeah.
And there's nothing in there that I can say that's original Call of Duty other than the name.
Yeah, just other than the name. Another thing that they did mention was that some of the, all of the previous Black Ops characters will make appearances in the Battle Royale mode. So, I mean, I don't know. I feel like if you've been playing Black Ops, and there's actually a lot of people that do not play the campaign in Call of Duty games. I feel like there's more people that don't play the campaign that do. But for the people that do, it's like they're getting rid of that feature. They're getting rid of that story. So these characters will have no development. There's just nothing to be had as far as progression for the individual characters. And I think that was one of the things that made having so many different teams or so many different versions of Call of Duty like it kind of worked out for them.
Right.
Because then like, okay, well, this is Black Ops, so I'm going to see what happens with the Black Ops team and see what happens with those characters. And then you go to Modern Warfare or whatever. Like, okay, what's going on with those characters, that team or whatever. But we're not getting that this time around. No. We're just getting a whole bunch of multiplayer modes and absolutely nothing to do single player beside, outside of a few missions.
Right. It's I don't know. Like I said, it's disappointing. I haven't touched seriously tried to play a modern Call of Duty game since I don't remember Modern Warfare 3, I think.
Yeah.
And this is another one that's on the list. I have no interest of playing this. I don't care for another Battle Royale entrant. I definitely don't care for a Call of Duty game that's going to be basically a mishmash of about 4 or 5 different games out there.
Yeah. I mean, and this is what I was talking about when we talk about fads that we want to see go away. Is like, I don't care that the Battle Royale thing is here because I don't have to play that game. And if I was a tried and true fan of Call of Duty, I might be upset because like that's not a genre that I really need. I don't need Battle Royale. It's not my cup of tea. I'll jump into it with some friends every once in a while, but it's not something that I need in every game. Like if Halo does it, I'm out. I'm out. I'm not gonna buy Halo because I don't want a battle royale in every single shooter.
No, it doesn't make sense. They don't all fit. And Call of Duty, the fast paced play of Call of Duty, especially now. I mean, I thought it was fast back in the day. I mean, right now it's like instant death almost.
Yeah.
That fast pace doesn't match well with Call of Duty.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting to see how
with Battle Royale.
Yeah, no, I know what you meant. Yeah. But yeah, it's going to be it's going to be interesting to see how fans and like the general populace receives this new game, because they've been pretty vocal in the past. I mean, Infinite Warfare had a trailer that was like one of the most downvoted videos on YouTube. I think it surpassed Justin Bieber's baby video.
Yeah, because people didn't want the dislikes.
Feature. Yeah, they didn't want it. And we'll see how they react to this. It's just, I don't know. Activision just chasing them ducats.
Yep, that's all it is. That's all it is.
Transitioning all of these talented teams into just
oblivion.
Yeah, essentially. Yep. That's crazy. But we'll have to wait and see. So that's all that we have on Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Black Ops 4. Let's go ahead and move into the next story. And I just mentioned Halo, and now we have a story about it, because only at Dave & Buster's will you get to play the newest entry in the Halo franchise, which is called Halo Fireteam Raven.
Yeah, this is super interesting because it is a straight up old stand-up arcade machine.
Yeah,
and it's what I found interesting is that the game, it does fit into the Halo lore. Is actually taking place at the time of the original Halo Combat Evolved. The Fireteam Raven fights alongside of Master Chief, apparently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But this is a big stand-up game, 104-inch 4K screen, 4 stations with mounted machine guns.
Yep.
And head over to Dave & Buster's this summer and get you some new Halo fix.
Yeah, I'm curious. Is it already out, or is it coming soon?
It's this summer. They didn't give a date. Yeah, they said it's this summer coming to Dave & Buster's, and then this summer in the United States and Canada only, and in the fall it's going to come out to the rest of the world, international locations. And that's at 140 inches, 130 inch 4K screen. It was developed by Raw Thrills and Play Mechanics, who collaborated with 343 Industries to bring this thing alive.
Yeah, so I mean, I can't wait. I love these like arcade style shoot 'em ups. I was a big fan of Counter-Strike back in the day. The Terminator arcade game even further back in the day. What was it called? Was it called Counter-Strike?
No, what was
that? What was that rail shooter? You know what I'm talking about? The one with the pedal?
Yep. I know what you're talking about. I can't think of it now. I know exactly what you're
talking about. Time Crisis. There we go. Time Crisis.
I put a lot of dollars in there.
A lot of dollars, yeah. So go ahead and get your wallets ready, get your credits ready, because this is gonna be another one of those guzzlers that don't give you any tickets for prizes either.
Oh no. You're just gonna be playing through the story.
Yeah, just playing through the story, and I'm actually interested to see what it has. It seems awesome, and there's actually been some pretty cool games in Dave & Buster's. There's like a Luigi's Mansion game there. There's like the Mario Kart GP where you can play against other players and stuff. So it's really cool. I do like going to Dave & Buster's because it's like the last remnants of the arcades.
Okay, yeah. I mean, the only other place I know of arcades are in like amusement parks. There's have you heard of Great Wolf Lodge? Have you heard of that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I've never been there, but it sounds awesome.
We've gone there a lot of times. Actually, we're going there in a couple of weeks in June. We're going to the one in Toronto. Fancy.
Oh, damn. Okay, I see you.
My brother-in-law lives in Buffalo, so we're going to go in Buffalo, and then from Buffalo we head up to Toronto. It's like an hour and a half drive.
Okay, cool, man.
But yeah, I mean, that's the only arcade experience I've had in the past 20 years is Great Lodge.
Yeah, either that or Dave & Buster's. I mean, there used to be an arcade up in New York.
Okay.
Shut the hell up, phone. There was an arcade up in New York City that me and my friends used to go to back in the day, but they closed that down recently. So yeah, there hasn't really been any like arcades to go to. So this is actually really fun that they're keeping up with like current franchises and stuff like that, bringing in Halo to Dave & Buster's. I can't wait to play it. And it's 4 players too, so you can get the whole crew and try to make your way through the story.
Yep, kill you some Revenant. Covenant.
Not Covenant. Revenant. Yep, kill the Covenant. Yeah, I don't know who the Revenant is.
That's the Leonardo DiCaprio movie.
Okay. All right. Oh yeah, that movie was good, man. He got jacked up by that bear. But yeah, so the newest Halo game is exclusive to Dave & Buster's. Go check it out. Once it comes out, in the one close to where we live, I'll play it and let you guys know what I think about it.
Sweet.
All right, so let's go ahead and move on. We got one more story in our top 5, and this is gonna be hard for us to get through, man.
Yeah,
it's because we got delays galore, and man, it's a wide variety of games that is being delayed as well. So let's just go through and see what we got first.
The first game that we're going to go talk about is Ubisoft's own Skull and Bones. Ubisoft talked about this on their earnings call. They're saying it's going to be pushed out by basically a whole year. It looks like it's not going to be coming out. It was supposed to come out this fall. Now it's not going to come out until sometime fiscal year 2019, which means from between April 1st of 2019 and March 31st of 2020. So I mean that's a long delay. With that long delay, I'm expecting it to be fall of 2019, like right around the holiday season. But it'd be interesting to see when it comes. The game looked promising.
It did look
kind of excited about it. But Ubisoft specifically mentioned that they're taking it back to they're delaying it because they want more time for fit and polish.
Yeah, and when somebody like Activision says, when like Ubisoft says that they're delaying it because it needs more polish, I tend to believe them because they are the only ones that really go out of their way to actually go in and fix video games.
They did it with the latest Assassin's Creed. They pushed it back and said we need more time on it, and then they did it with another game too. I can't think of it, but they've done it for a couple of times recently, and if you look at what Assassin's Creed did and how it came out, you can't be upset with what they did.
Can't be upset with that. So, I mean, if anything, if we're to believe that, because of the let me start over. Okay, so anyway, I think that one of the reasons Skull and Bones is being delayed is because of like the massive disappointment that was the other Sea of Thieves, the other freaking pirate game that came out. Go ahead.
The Skull and Bones is way different because Skull and Bones is basically a naval
true
PvP battle.
But it's a pirate game, and people are gonna make that connection, even if it's not, a truly a 1-for-1, like match, comparison, match or comparison. People are gonna make that comparison, and they probably just want a little bit more time for people to forget about Sea of Thieves so that they don't get the 1-to-1 comparison. Like, oh, Sea of Thieves versus Skull and Bones. They probably don't want to see that because Sea of Thieves garnered a lot of uninspired reviews from a lot of people. A lot of people were not totally like happy with how that game came out.
It wasn't what they were expecting.
It wasn't what they were expecting.
And the thing, I will say this about Sea of Thieves, it has garnered a strong size, very dedicated fan base, but doesn't have the mass appeal that it was expecting or people were expecting.
Second game on the list is NBA Playgrounds 2. That game is being delayed. An EA game that is reminiscent of
is it EA Saber Interactive.
I mean it's EA. Yeah, they own the NBA. Oh no, they don't own the NBA.
Yeah, that's NBA NFL, right?
No, but it is.
EA's not, are they publishing this? I didn't think so.
They're not?
I don't think so.
I could have sworn it was. Because this game reminds me of like the old school NBA Jam games. Right.
And
I know for a fact that EA owns the rights to NBA Jam.
Right. They do that. No, publisher Mad Dog Games. Saber Interactive as a developer.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. So
that's interesting.
The main reason I brought this one up is they just delayed this Friday. I think Thursday or Friday they made the announcement. This game was supposed to come out Tuesday, as in the day after tomorrow, Tuesday. And see, if you look at the video I played, it had May 22nd as the date. But yeah, it was supposed to come out Tuesday, the day after tomorrow. And they delayed it. They don't have a specific date as to when they're going to be releasing it. They just said it's coming back in the future and will be better than ever. I
don't know. I thought that the NBA Playgrounds, the first game that that game just came out last year. Yeah. NBA Playgrounds 2 came out in May of last year. I mean, the first one came out in May of last year. So
because it came out on the Switch, right?
And we talked about it.
May
It
9th,
came out for everything, including the Switch.
including the Switch. Yeah, May 9th of last year. So yeah, to have a new game with like basically a year out, I guess that's kind of a quick turnaround. So
Yeah.
they probably didn't do much, but I just find it interesting that they waited about 4 days before the day was supposed to release to say it's delayed.
Yeah, yeah, it's kind of weird. I don't know what happened. Maybe they found like a game breaking glitch or something.
Maybe.
But yeah, so that's gonna be delayed. I mean, I didn't play the first one. It seemed interesting. It reminded me of NBA Jam, and I do like those like arcadey sports games. But I don't know. I just never got around to playing it. Maybe when the second one eventually drops, because with the delay, it doesn't give us any information as to when it's coming out.
No.
So we'll have to wait and see. But the next one, the next delay actually hits me a little hard because Metro Exodus, which is the third game in the Metro series, is being delayed as well.
Right.
And you know what makes this makes me really sad, but I understand that these guys need all the time that they need. And this is a pretty small studio compared to a lot of other AAA studios out there.
And it's a very ambitious game as well.
Very ambitious. I mean, it like we saw the trailer not too long ago. It looks fantastic. I can't wait to get my hands on it. I actually need to beat the second one, Last Light.
Oh, is it Last Light? Yeah.
Yeah. I need to beat Last Light. I haven't beaten that one yet, so maybe this will give me a little bit of time to focus on that and get that one done. But yeah,
they did give us a release window, Q1 2019. So you look for that between January and March.
Yeah.
Of next year. So I mean, it's not that far out, but it's still a fair delay.
Yeah, that stings a little bit. It's far out enough.
yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, and speaking about being far out, Shenmue 3 has also been delayed till 2019, and this is the second major delay in this Kickstarter game. The publisher, I think they're partnered with Deep Silver, and they're the ones that made the announcement that the game will be delayed until 2019. That was followed by a statement from the game's director Yu Suzuki, who basically just came out and thanked everybody for their for waiting, and they want to make the game as good as possible. Blah blah. The whole spiel on that. But according to a lot of people that are Kickstarter backers, they have not been getting a lot of updates.
No updates, yeah, I've read that too. Yeah,
there hasn't really been any kind of like in-game. Like finalized in-game assets have been none of those have been shown off yet. We don't know how the character models are going to look because what we have been seeing is not indicative of the final product.
No,
at all.
It's just like a mock-up.
Yeah, it's just a mock-up. So we haven't really seen any like in-game cutscenes or character models or anything like that. So I mean, people are getting worried. I mean, because
this is. Like we talked about Skull and Bones, like, okay, we don't mind if you're going to fix the game, but they've been fixing this game for about 3 years now.
Yeah, it was announced in E3 2015.
Yeah, 2015. It was supposed to come out, wasn't it supposed to come out last year, 2017? They delayed it, and now it's delayed again.
Yeah, it was supposed to, it was then announced that it was come out December 2017.
Right.
And so now it's not coming out until 2019. 2019. Sorry.
2019.
Yeah. So we're gonna have to wait. But what is good is that Sega went ahead and announced that the Shenmue 1 and 2 was it a remaster? I don't know if it was a remaster, but re-release of Shenmue 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I don't want to say remaster because we know how those words can get misconstrued.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so we will be getting Shenmue 1 and 2 released on current gen and PC from Sega. So that'll be a really good holdover until we get Shenmue 3. So I can't be too mad at that. I'm not a backer of the game. I'll just get it when it comes out. So, but I really want this thing. I hope that it doesn't end up in development hell because that would be
sad.
That would be a sad end to this saga. We finally get the announcement, and then it just never comes out.
Right. So the 1 and 2 are re-release. They are re-releases, not remastered, but they're going to be the graphics are going to be scaled.
Yeah. So upscale graphics, resolution, everything looking nice and pretty on your new TV.
Yeah.
So yeah, can't wait for that. I will be getting the collection, and then that'll hold me over until Shenmue 3 comes out. And then the next announcement is a game from Take-Two that hasn't actually been announced yet. It's a mystery game from Take-Two. A lot of people are thinking it could be either Borderlands or BioShock.
I'm guessing Borderlands because we saw some concept art from Borderlands.
Yeah, we have. We haven't heard anything about BioShock since Infinite.
Right.
The conundrum that game was. But yeah, probably Borderlands 3 coming out. We know that Take-Two is streamlining the Red Dead Redemption release, which was already delayed previously. So we know about that.
Right.
I don't know if there's anything else that it could possibly be,
unless they have a new IP. Yeah. So they didn't. This was again in their earnings call, the same call they talked about GTA Online. But basically they said that they had a game that's going to be pushed out a year.
Yeah.
So and they didn't mention what game it was. They said it's going to be fiscal year 2020. So April 1st, 2019 through March 31st, 2020. So it seems like it was supposed to be scheduled to come out maybe sometime this year, and now it's not going to come out until sometime next year, whatever it is.
Yeah. So
like I said, my money's on Borderlands.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind a new Borderlands. I think it's about time for another like co-op like shooter like that. I mean, that game was freaking awesome. As long as they don't throw a battle royale into it, I think I will be down for a new Borderlands. It's an awesome co-op shooter.
Yeah, I'm still having a hard time trusting Take-Two just because of their CEO and his infatuation with loot boxes. That's what I'm worried about Red Dead.
Oh man.
But
just think all the guns and stuff that you can get in Borderlands. Oh man, you better have that season pass.
Yeah.
Better get that wallet ready.
So
you like this gun? You could try it out for one clip and then you got to pay up. Test clip. That's what they're gonna call it.
But stop! Don't give me any ideas. Stop it.
So oh shit! All right, yeah. Let me start up. Let me shut up.
That's a race stat.
yeah. Redacted. But yeah. So that was all of the delays that we can get our hands on. I'm pretty sure there was some more that we missed, but man, that's a lot of games.
Yeah. A lot of big ones.
Big titles. Yeah. 3 of which I'm actually pretty excited for. I mean, Shenmue 3. Skull and Bones and Metro Exodus, those are considered AAA titles, and all of them are being delayed until 2019. I mean,
and the weirdest one to me is the NBA Playgrounds, just because it was due out in 2 days.
Yeah, it was like you. And when was this announced that it was being delayed? Crazy.
Yeah, 4 days.
4 days.
You got your pre-orders, like, oh, I'm going to preload it Monday.
It's delayed. Nope, delayed. Until next year.
Yeah.
Freaking crazy.
That's nuts.
But yeah, so those are all the delays. And that was our top 5 for this week. So yeah, if you have any stories, again, that you would like to submit to us, that you would like to get our opinions on, let us know by hitting us up on our social media. You can reach us on Facebook. You can reach us on Twitter. You can also leave comments down in the comment section of the YouTube video once it goes up on YouTube. But with that said, let's go ahead and jump into our next segment. Which would be This Week in Loot Boxes, but we actually don't. There was no stories.
I was like, what the hell?
No loot box story.
So there's going to be about 20 of them next week.
Yeah. Oh god. Yeah. Next week's going to be loaded with loot box stories.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess everybody just took a week off from loot boxes.
Yeah.
But yeah, because we always like to keep the conversation going, because when we start slowing down is when they. That's what they want. They want you to forget so that they can implement those shady practices.
Yep, exactly.
That nobody likes. So yeah, I guess we can go ahead and just go right into our long form discussion. So Boogie, why don't you go ahead and introduce that for us? Okay,
so this week we're going to talk about, or the question is, what should or can be done to bring creativity back to AAA titles? And this is definitely a play off of the Call of Duty Black Ops, but it's furthermore, it's an industry-wide issue, right? So every year you're guaranteed to get one IP that's been around for 5 years or more. When we look at
a sequel.
Yeah, you look at Assassin's Creed, you look at Battlefields, you look at Call of Duties, all of the sports titles. I mean, Rainbow Six Siege, Ghost Recons. I mean, all of those are old IPs. Now, they put new paint on it, they freshened it up, they added new gameplay and all of that other stuff, but it's still old stuff. The only creativity we seem to be getting is from indie developers, right? Yep. When you look at like the Battle Royale genre, which is all a hot mess, that was basically off of a was off an Armor mod,
Mhm.
H1Z1, it was off of Armor Mod. I think PUBG was even started off of Armor Mod. I'm probably wrong on that, but I know H1Z1 was an Armor Mod, and that kicked off the battle royale genre, and it's huge now. But again, that comes from an independent developer. It didn't come
Right.
from anybody else. It didn't come from Activision or EA, Ubisoft, and I'm just wondering what can be done, or can anything be done?
Man, all right, so here's what has to be done. Studios have to take risks. I mean, that's essentially what needs to happen. You have to take risk, and you have to hope that it sticks, because that's what creates new trends, is when something creative and innovative comes out, and it strikes with the consumer base.
Right. But
go ahead.
We just saw, and again, this is gonna fit another story. That's the problem with Boss Key, right? Boss Key had maybe some innovative, interesting ideas, and the publisher said no, let's go with what's popular, and that sunk them.
Yeah.
So I think the problem may not necessarily be the developers. The developers at least the developers for these AAA studios, the developers for these large publishers, aren't given the chance to bring anything new. That's why you see a lot of former Treyarch and former developers out there trying to do stuff.
Yo, before we continue, I got to get a shout out to Garchomp, who just donated $2. Thank you for the donation. I appreciate that, homie. But yeah, no, I agree. And when I say creativity, or not creativity, but risks have to come back, it's not necessarily on the developers' end. I'm talking about the publishers.
Yeah.
The publishers do not want to take risks, because risks can end in loss of revenue.
Right.
Yeah, it's like if it's not something that's going to sell, they don't want to do it. And what's selling right now is hero shooters and battle royale. That's like essentially all that's selling in the eyes of the publishers, because we've seen games like not Call of Duty, but God of War is on its way to selling 10 million copies, and that's an exclusive to PlayStation 4.
I mean, but when you look at Far Cry did good. That's outside of what the normal popularity is. Go back to last year, Horizon Zero Dawn was another one. Nier Automata is another one. Those games were popular. The other Cuphead. What's the other game that you all played? I always forget the name of it.
Nier.
Not Nier.
Nioh.
Nioh, yeah. I mean, those games all did well. Look at Monster Hunter, outside of the box. Monster Hunter World. I mean, those games do well. The thing is, if you only give the public a small number of one choice, that's what they're going to use.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's what they're going to play, and I think that might even be a business strategy. It's like, we don't want to water down the gaming market with a bunch of great games or a bunch of different choices. Let's just give them a few choices, and that way we can get all the monies.
Right. Yeah. Because I don't know, man. Even with older franchises like with Ubisoft, they had to take a break from Assassin's Creed in order for it to garner the success that it's been getting lately.
Right.
And I'll say, like, I've actually really missed playing Assassin's Creed games after that year or so break. It was like 2 years that I just didn't have a Assassin's Creed to play. And when I played Origins, man, like, I could not put it down. And that's what people have to do. It has to have that, like, clear vision, like, okay, we're gonna make a game that's solid, that is sound, and that people are going to enjoy. I really feel like in a lot of instances, you have like these yearly releases, like, for instance, like the sports games. You have FIFA, Madden, you have 2K. All these games come out every year. There's not a lot of innovation and creativity that comes with it.
Right.
But they're making money off of it because of like the loot boxes, the Ultimate Team. Like, so they're making money off of less work. Like, less work. They're working smarter, not working harder. That's what's essentially is going on right now.
Right.
If I can reuse assets, if I don't have to build a new game engine every year,
don't have to spend time with new writers writing new stories, as opposed to rehashing or expanding on the story that's already. And it's okay to expand on the story, but it gets boring. It's like watching the same movie every year.
Exactly. I mean, and what's going on in Activision? They have Call of Duty coming out, and then what have they been doing recently? Re-releasing old Call of Duty games.
Games in general. Call of Duty. What was the re-released Crash Bandicoot, right? Wasn't that theirs? No.
Yeah. No,
That
yeah,
was
that's
theirs.
Activision. That's
Yeah,
Activision.
Activision Crash Bandicoot. Yeah, remasters, re-releases, and their hero IPs, which are Destiny right now is Destiny,
Call of Duty,
Overwatch, and
that's it.
That's it. Yeah, what else is coming out of Activision? Nothing.
Nothing.
And you can say the same thing for EA. You got Battlefield, and you got the Star Wars franchise
Battlefront,
that they're destroying, and you got their sports, FIFA and Madden, and I mean Mass Effect. They took a swing at that. They forced it out early. It came out unpolished, and they just dumped it. It's gone.
Yeah, they just stopped supporting it.
Yeah, I mean,
I've never seen that happen before.
Yeah, it's like didn't work. Forget it. Let's go loot boxes.
Exactly. So yeah, people just have to be, not scared of taking risks, because it's those risks that create new trends. And if we don't get any new trends, we're just gonna keep playing the same things over and over. They're gonna keep re-releasing the same things over and over. And remember this from like 10 years ago? Yeah, re-release with a fresh coat of paint. We didn't put any extra work into it, but we're gonna sell it to you for half price, full price, whatever.
60%, yeah.
60%, yeah. So it's like there's really no new experiences coming out of gaming right now, as far as AAA games are concerned. So I have to say that that's the answer, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think like you said, I think there has to be chances taken. I think just following the leader thing is getting tired. I mean,
it's getting old.
Yeah, radically, I would love to see some of these, either one of these huge publishers just crash and burn, or just one of these huge publishers just split up and just start selling off their studios and letting the studios go out and do something on their own.
But then again, that's what happened with a lot of studios a couple of years back, and then now what happened?
Yeah, it's a consolidation.
They're consolidating. EA bought up Pandemic. They bought Visceral. They bought all these freaking companies, and then just
shut them down.
Sat on them and they shut them down.
Yeah, they shut a couple of them down. They had a couple of them work on basically garbage mess. Like some DLC or some assets for another game, and they just didn't really integrated them with other studios. It just, I don't know, like it seems like it's been a talent vacuum, or the talent's been suppressed. Like the people are still out there, they're just not being allowed to do the things they really want to do, and they're not being allowed to be creative.
Yeah, and that's what's going to kill AAA games, is like the suppression of the creativity of these developers.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so if we want to bring back creativity, these people are going to have to branch off and do their own thing, because the status quo in the AAA market is hero shooters, and loot boxes and
hero IPs.
Hero IPs. Like that's all we're gonna get from the AAA market right now. It'll be a shot in the dark, like with something from like with God of War. It's just like a shot in the dark.
And God of War is not necessarily a shot in the dark. It doesn't establish IP.
It is, but it's a shot in the dark for it to release in this kind of gaming landscape and then do so well. Yeah, I think because you have a lot of people out there that are perpetuating this idea that game doesn't work. Right, it shouldn't sell.
I think it was a bigger chance with Horizon Zero Dawn than it was with God of War. Horizon Zero Dawn was a brand new IP, and it was successful, and it made it easier for God of War because God of War is a known IP.
True, so very true.
Selling 10 million copies is absolutely impressive, especially like you said, it's exclusive. It's only on one system.
Yep.
But I think it was less of a risk than, say, the Horizon Zero Dawn was.
Yeah. I mean, I can agree with that. Yeah, but still, you have people just that are set on this. You have CEOs of companies that are set on this idea that the only thing that's going to make us money is loot boxes and hero shooters and battle royale games.
Yeah, they get in the meeting like, so what's the popular game selling now? Oh, PUBG. Okay, let's do some Fortnite. Oh, let's do some battle royale into my game. Let's do it and add some loot boxes on there. That's the cherry on top.
Yeah, you have people leaving these companies. Like we just talked about last week, or the week before.
The EA guy.
the EA guy left because of what was going on with Madden. You have people leaving. You have people leaving this, like EA during the development cycle of Anthem.
Yeah,
it's crazy, man. Because the same thing happened with Andromeda. People, high level people were leaving the company,
and it's because they're not being allowed to express their creativity. Is essentially the bottom line.
Yeah, and in some instances, the studios are just being shut down because they're not going in the direction that the publisher thinks that they should go in. So like with the Star Wars game that was shut down, that probably would have been awesome.
Amazing. KOTR. I swear it's KOTR 3. I would go to my grave saying that shut down single player Star Wars experience was KOTR 3. And they's like, okay, single players aren't popular, or single players. It's not that they're not popular.
They're not selling.
They don't make money.
They don't make a reoccurring.
Yeah.
It's not a reoccurring investment.
Exactly. Right.
You can't resell. You can't sell stuff to them over a long period of time.
Right. No recurring income. That's right.
Yeah. And that's the thing right there.
Yep. Yeah. And that's what happened in Mass Effect Andromeda.
Yep. But yeah, we're gonna have to wait and see, man. Dude, this whole weekend, what have I been doing? Playing indie games. That's all I've been doing.
That's the only thing. Those are the only places you get anything fresh.
Anything fresh, man. The racing game that I was playing, Horizon Chase Turbo, it's like a throwback to the old like Outrun days.
I have that. Is that a mobile game?
That it was a mobile game, but the turbo version is the one that came out on console and PC.
I have it. Horizon Chase.
Horizon Chase is super fun, man.
Yeah.
That game is fun.
It's like it reminds me of what was the game? Outrun.
Outrun and like Top Gears.
Not on Top Gear. Outrun.
What the hell is that game? Is it Top Gear? I think it's Top Gear.
Maybe, I don't know. Top Gear does. If I remember, Outrun, Pole Position.
Let me see. Yeah, Top Gear. Yeah, so old school racing game. Yeah, it's just like that. And then the other game that I was playing, Wizard of Legend, just small little indie game, fast paced, quick co-op action.
Yeah,
that game is amazing. I actually like that one a whole lot, and I'm gonna be putting a lot of time into that.
Oh, I remember this game. I have this game.
What's that?
Top Gear.
Top Gear. Classic, man.
Yeah,
classic.
I had this game. Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's the only time that you're gonna see any type of creativity, and it will be the closure of some of these studios that will force these developers to do their own thing. Similar to how a lot of these people went to Kickstarter, went to crowdfunding in order to get stuff started. So we have the guy behind Castlevania making the Bloodstained game, which I cannot wait to play. Basically, I've said all that I can say about this particular topic. Is there anything else that you wanted to add to it?
No. I mean, like you said, I think it's definitely going to take either for one of these big publishers to have a real hard time financially, which it doesn't look like is going to happen, or there's just going to be there's going to have to be an exodus of talent. And what needs to happen when these developers leave, they need to partner with a publisher that's going to let them do what they want to do. They can't be like Cliffy B, leave and then get stuck with a publisher that's pulling the strings and not allowing them to be creative.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. But yeah, that was our long form discussion. If you would like to contribute to the conversation, hit us up on our social media. If you have questions that you want to ask us, use the hashtag AskAWGNS. We track that hashtag on Twitter. So if you have any questions or comments that you want to add to any of the stories or topics that we spoke on today, make sure that you use that hashtag, reach out to us, and in our next show, we'll have those showcased in a Q&A section that we like to do once we get like a hefty amount of questions asked of us. So with that said, let's go ahead and move into the next segment. This is going to be our final thoughts. And for those of you that are just joining us, because I know a lot of people, they join in late or whatever, this is actually a good point in time to get a quick 2 cents on what we think of some of the stories that we talked about today. So let's go ahead and jump into that. Final thoughts. Man, I almost spelled thoughts wrong. All right, so I'll go first. So today's show was filled with a lot of different stories. The first one that we talked about today was that Sony is going to stop producing physical game carts for the PS Vita, and to me that's something that's to be expected. The Vita has not been the most popular handheld console, and it's only a matter of time till they stop development on it in its entirety. That's just my opinion. I've never owned one, but anybody that I do know that has one doesn't have anything to play. So that's the main reason why it's going under. GTA 5 closing in on 100 million copies sold worldwide. I mean, damn. I mean, that's very impressive. And I don't understand it because I stopped playing the game quite some time ago. I have no intentions on getting back into it. I don't even have the current gen version. I still have my 360 version, and I was satisfied with what I played back then, and I don't think I'm ever going to go back, especially because the 360 version and by extension the PS3 haven't been updated in ever.
Right.
They just abandoned those
After,
two. Just
it's been a couple of years, yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while. So you won't see me playing that ever again. Wolfenstein 2 gonna be 23 gigabytes on the Switch instead of the aforementioned 14 gigabytes. This is a problem that Nintendo is gonna have to rectify with something. I don't know what it's gonna take. But the space issues on the Switch it's a huge problem, and you're not having that issue on any other console this generation. So I don't know what Nintendo's gonna have to do, but they're gonna have to do something. Because why would you? If I was a developer, why would I do that? I wouldn't put my game on the Switch because it can't even.
Too much trouble.
Yeah, it's too much trouble. Too much more trouble than it's worth, in my opinion. Next up, we talked about Boss Key, production shutting down. Is just chasing those trends, man. And when you can't do it better than the current competition, it's gonna flop. I mean, just look at Radical Heights. I mean, that thing dropped and then it instantly fell in the garbage. It's hot garbage, as our friend Maury Jim likes to say, hot garbage. But the scrapped Boss Key projects do look interesting. Hopefully, his contract with his publisher doesn't keep him from making some of those dreams a reality with somebody else. As some of those actually seem pretty cool. The new accessible controller from Microsoft, solid idea. Is just another one of those ways that Microsoft is just bringing gamers together on the Xbox platform. They just need the games. I've been saying that for a few years now. Xbox needs to bring the games, and I'm praying to sweet baby Microsoft Jesus, sweet baby Bill Gates, that they have something in store for us. Because if not, what the hell is all this for if we don't have anything to play? You know what I'm saying? Next up, we talked about Call of Duty Black Ops 4 and all of the announcements that came with that. It's just a lot of Me Too going on with Call of Duty, and I personally am not impressed. I did have a conversation with my brother, who also hasn't played Call of Duty in a long time, and he said that he's actually interested in it. I mean, he plays Fortnite, not religiously, but he's interested in seeing how their take on the Battle Royale plays out. So, I mean, if he gets it, I'll have access to it because we game share on PlayStation 4. So if he buys it, I may give it a shot. I don't know. I'm not going to spend my money on it. Absolutely not. New Halo game exclusive to Dave & Buster's. I feel like this is really cool. I feel like Dave & Buster's is like the last remnant of the arcades from back in the 90s. So it's good that they're getting fresh content and fresh games with recognizable franchises put into these locations, and there's one close to me, so when the game comes out I do plan on playing it. And with all the delays, I mean, with all of them except for NBA Playgrounds 2, I kind of understand. I do not understand why a game that was scheduled to release in 2 days would just be delayed until next year, especially one with such a minimal amount of graphical fidelity. It's not the most extensive game. I mean, it's NBA Jam pretty much.
Yeah. It doesn't say next year. They didn't give a new release date.
They didn't.
It's delayed. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I just assumed it was delayed until 2019. I'm not sure.
Yeah, everything else was.
yeah, everything else was. But yeah, I mean, I understand. These games need more time in the oven. But an arcade basketball game, really, I don't know. That's very, very, very odd. And I'm very interested to see what comes out of Take Two. What that unannounced game that was delayed. Hopefully it's Borderlands, but we won't know until they come out with some more information. So what about you? What are your final thoughts, Boogie?
The Sony produced ending production on the physical games on the Vita. I mean, like I said, it's inevitable. And I'm guessing within 12 to 18 months we'll be hearing that Sony's going to cease production on the PS Vita. Yeah. I know it's popular in some Asian territories and very popular in Japan, but it didn't really catch on anywhere else. No. GTA 5 selling almost 100 million copies. That's amazing. I still don't care about GTA 5, and
that's crazy, man.
Nothing that's going to get me to care about it. But there is, it's popular. It's like that. It's that game. Like if you buy an Xbox or you buy a PlayStation, you must have GTA 5, and that's what seems to be happening. Is people buy their systems, and that's one of the first games they get is GTA 5. Yeah. Nintendo should be ashamed of themselves, shipping a system with 32 gigabytes of memory and earmarking 8 gigs for the OS. So essentially you start off with only 24 gigabytes of storage. I know they wanted to keep the costs down, but it should have been at least 128, and that would have cost them maybe 10 extra bucks. I mean, it's ridiculous that they did that, and they should be ashamed of themselves.
Cutting them corners, man.
Especially considering there's no option for external storage at all. Outside, when I say external storage, I'm thinking plugging in a USB cable to an external hard drive as opposed to using a micro SD card.
You can't do that on the Switch? You can't use an external hard drive?
Not that I know of.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Where are you going to plug it in at?
I mean, they have USB ports.
Just the one.
Oh, true. Oh, shit. I don't fucking... Well, whatever. I mean, dude, I wouldn't know, man. I think I touched my Switch for the first time on Wednesday when I got somebody's Switch ID. I was like, yeah, I'll pick it up for a second.
Yeah. I remember you did that on the
did that on the after show.
Then we got the next story was Boss Key. It's kind of sad. It sucks. Lawbreakers was a good idea on paper. It just didn't seem to work out. And like I said, especially with Cliffy B showing off some of the concepts for the other ideas that were turned down, some of those were a little more unique. Mm-hmm. And it's just it's unfortunate that he signed up, or his studio signed up with a publisher that was trying to keep up with the Joneses as opposed to laying new ground. And that's what happens. The Microsoft's accessibility controller, that is amazing. I like that they're trying to be all inclusive on Xbox One, but especially that this is compatible with PC as well. Yeah. So it's that you give them a small round of applause for that.
Yep.
There's nothing negative to be said about that story. Call of Duty Black Ops 4. It's like I said, it's just like chop suey. You just take parts of everything, they threw it in together, chopped it up, mixed it, and they call it Call of Duty Black Ops 4. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
The new Halo game going exclusive to Dave & Buster's. I think that's really interesting, especially considering that they're going to keep it within the Halo lore, which is really cool. I can't say I'm gonna go to Dave & Buster's to try to play it, but if I ever find myself in a Dave & Buster's, I would definitely give it a shot.
Yeah.
The delays, the Skull and Bones, was definitely something I was really looking forward to. I can wait another year because there's a lot of stuff coming out this year to keep me occupied.
I'm still occupied from games from last year, so
exactly. The NBA Playgrounds 2 delay, it's really odd considering it was announced 4 days before it was actually supposed to be released. I think you may have hit it right on the nose. They found a game-breaking glitch that they need time to fix. Metro Exodus, I am kind of interested in that, but it is what it is. Shenmue 3, I'm worried that it's on the road to the dreaded V word. I'm not going to say it because I don't want to jinx it.
Yo, no jinx. No, fingers crossed, man.
It's just delay after delay, and like you said, we've actually not seen any real assets from the
final product. Yeah.
And unannounced Take-Two game. My money's on Borderlands, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yep. So that was our final thoughts. Let us know what your thoughts are on our social media. Use the hashtag AskAWGNS so we can track the hashtag, ask us questions, and get involved in the conversation. We love conversing with you guys, and especially if you disagree with us, because we love arguing over the internet. It's one of our favorite pastimes. So definitely hit us up and let us know what you think. But I think we can go ahead and end this show, this episode 101. We can go ahead and end it now. Like always, we go live every Sunday, God willing. We go live every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, with the YouTube video going up every Monday at noon. If you don't have an hour and a half to catch the podcast, you can always check out Boogie's Weekly Gaming News 10 and 10. That goes up every Saturday at noon. So you get your whole weekend with Weekly Gaming News Show action. We got Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. You can, figure out what's going on with us. You can follow us on Twitter. We're at AWGNS. You can also follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/AWGNS, or you can just search in the search bar Weekly Gaming News Show. And follow us on or subscribe to our YouTube channel, because like I said, with the aforementioned Weekly Gaming News 10 and 10, we are trying to find more ways to interact with you guys, more videos to put up on that channel. So make sure that you're following us, and because we actually do have some surprises in store for you guys coming up very soon. I don't want to give away anything, but man, I can't wait. I can't wait until we get some of these surprises out.
Yeah, we got some stuff.
We got some stuff.
So close.
Ooh, we're on the cusp of revealing some really cool things for you guys. So make sure that you stay tuned for that. And if you're taking us on the go, if you don't have time to look at our beautiful mugs every week, and you want to just listen to the show while you're cooking your food or cleaning your house or whatever it is that you do on the weekend, we have our show is in the podcasting directory. So Boogie, why don't you let them know exactly how they can listen to us if that's what they want to do?
Yeah, that's Trenell saying we are in the general podcasting directory. So whatever podcasting app you use, be it on your Android or iOS device, just look us up, a Weekly Gaming News Show, or by call letters AWGNS, and you will be able to find us. We are also in iTunes, Google Play, and TuneIn Radio, which will allow you to launch our podcast on your smart speaker just by uttering your wake-up word and play the latest Weekly Gaming News Show episode. That will play for you hands-free while you're grilling those burgers.
Oh, grilling them burgers. I want some burgers. I'm actually pretty damn hungry. So I think that's our cue to bounce up out of here. Again, this has been a Weekly Gaming News Show, episode 101. We're in the hundreds, man.
Triple digits.
Triple digit boys. Yeah, we've been doing this for quite some time, and we're going to keep on doing it because we love it, and we hope that you guys enjoy it. Leave us suggestions in the comments. Anything that we can do to make the show better, we want to make that happen for you guys. But we're going to go ahead and bounce out from here. We are your hosts with the most, and my name is Trenell.
I go by Todd.
Yep, and we will catch you guys
next week.
Peace.